Welcome to Philly Coco Presents Side Project Spotlight, episode 84. This is a developer's journey into making cool stuff. I am Kotaro.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Aaron.
And we are Philly Coco, a Philadelphia-based Cocoa Heads community focused on Apple development that primarily, but not exclusively, means iOS, Mac, tvOS, watchOS, and visionOS development. Philly Coco's true desire is to take you higher on your own developer journey. Woo! All right.
Yes.
Getting good at this thing.
Yeah.
These intros.
If only we could be good at actually developing stuff.
Oh my god! You're what's that term? You're like the lead.
I'm specifically talking about me, but
well,
yeah.
You have an excuse. Okay, maybe not that much of an excuse, but we'll give you a pass on that one. So okay, bearing the lead. That's the term. Bearing the lead.
Bearing the lead.
Bearing the lead. So for context, for anybody who has not heard what we do here, normally our podcast can be a little mix of topical things and sometimes can be a journey of our own to build a particular app or a product, usually apps. So right now, Steven, what exactly are we building or trying to build within a certain time frame?
Okay, so the story so far, if you imagine that, I want to put that, I would, but I probably get like copyright strike or something. I want to put that music in from the Supernatural.
3 hours later? No.
No. I don't know if you ever watched that show, but they would always play like Kansas song, like and say the story so far. So the story so far is we're trying to build a HealthKit app, which is essentially just a dashboard of metrics that the three of us are interested in tracking more easily, and the user interface kind of is going to resemble a bento box in design concepts. And we also had the idea of making it kind of themed around 3 different levels of the fitness journey between Kotaro, the blob, myself.
Don't you mean the slob?
The slob, no. Between like somebody who's more interested in basic metrics like steps and nutrition maybe, and then somebody like me has an active like weight loss program and workout program, and I'm tracking like more of those metrics, and then somebody like Aaron who is already the most fit of us and maybe will be tracking things for like a triathlon or something. So that's what we were thinking of in broad strokes. It's not a real complicated app. It's probably something you've seen built before in ways, but we're doing our own spin on it. Mainly because, well, we wanted to do a HealthKit app, and because, I don't know about you, but I'm always checking these different stats in the health app and other apps, and I just felt like I wanted them all centralized in one place. It'd be easier for me to just peruse my overall stats, and so that's the goal. And last time I'm looking at, see, a good thing about this website that puts the show notes up, except it mangles the layout. But last time we did an update, we had gotten some metrics implemented, Xcode, cloud, some tests done, figured out Git workflows. We also talked about using LLMs for HealthKit code generation because it's such a gnarly API. Kotaro talked about his UI, and we decided that for this time we were trying to get dynamic bento boxes. I don't know what that means. Add and remove bento boxes dynamically. I'm sure it's in the cards on GitHub. We were trying to implement more HealthKit metrics. We had a whole list of them that we had figured out, and then we started talking about data modeling and caching strategy, and then maybe Swift charts. So how much of that did we get to?
Drum roll, please. Nothing. Okay, you did little. Something. Very little. Yeah.
So this episode is going to be partly about. We should probably have a drinking game. How many times would we come on a show and say, "Well, we wanted to do more," but we thought that we would actually just lean into this whole thing because it's a perennial problem you will encounter or a challenge. We'll say it's a challenge you will have when you're working on a side project. What do you do when other priorities come up? And I think it's actually important to talk about that. But before we do, I will say briefly, we didn't get absolutely nothing done. It's just I didn't check any code in yet. I was working on the more HealthKit metrics. I didn't implement them yet because I was trying to actually fix the first launch of the HealthKit integration, where it's trying to ask you for permission, and it's kind of janky, slow, and the UI doesn't update till you kill the app. I was trying to fix that today.
Really? Oh, jeez.
Well, yeah,
it is slow. Really, it is slow in updating.
And if something doesn't feel right about it.
Yeah, when I was messing with it, I saw it was like making 2 calls to the HealthKit store.
Okay, so
does
there's something wrong
on launch, or does it take its time?
It's trying to do it right now as like a task on launch. So there's something, I was doing a little research and playing around. I was using Grok to help me write some code quickly. And I was trying to do that today, get it to work better. I was refactoring some things, but I haven't checked it in yet because it's not quite working right. I was also adding like a little spinner or something on like a loading screen for this thing to make it a little more smooth or something. Just to kind of take, and more logging, but I didn't get very far yet because it's still kind of janky. But there's obviously something wrong there, and I feel like it's probably related to async stuff as usual.
And also, like tasks, if you're using like the task modifier, it's kind of related to the view life cycle. If they like redraw the view, then it just like cancels
what's weird,
starts it over.
What's weird is when the authorization's done, and then even if you call to get the data, because I even put that in there to make sure we were calling right after we got that done, it still wasn't causing the observable to update. Like the UI still wasn't updating, and so it's like, but then when you kill the app and you just shut down and open it again, then all the data would be there. So there's obviously some problems with our use of observables and the HealthKit integration. So I was starting to mess around with that, figure out how to refactor it. And then I was also thinking about the data modeling. My plan is to create probably structs to start with. We can probably convert them to classes if we want to do a Swift data model. But build some domain models for the types of data we're doing, and then we'll just spit them out of our observable instead of just like a double or something. Like I put an example in the Git repo in one of the cards. See if I can bring it up. Just an example, just like a little struct. We'll have to make these, and then what we'll do is my idea is because Kotaro, you wanted some kind of like standardized way of getting information for the user interface, and my thing about that is when I looked at HealthKit, the problem is there's just multiple types that you can get back. So I think instead of trying to say you need like one type for everything, instead we'll just have the types. We'll create structs or whatever that model the data appropriately, and then we'll create protocols that we can implement as extensions that will provide whatever API you want for the user interface stuff. So that means if we want to do like a chart or something, there might be certain kinds of data we want, and we might be able to just abstract that as a protocol, and then we'll just do that as we go along.
Yeah, I'm thinking like offhand, anything that requires a full 2 columns would be a chart of some kind. And that'll kind of how we mix and match these sort of bento style UI. Whereas anything that is just a number or maybe like a gauge UI, it can be like a single square data item. And in terms of like UI, not in terms of like the data model itself. And I kind of want to focus on getting those at least templated out so that you can just plug and play when you get your data model in good shape. So that'll be something that I want to actively do this coming 2 weeks. But I've seen this.
This is just an example. You can't see those listening, but just to make it to clarify what I'm talking about is, I think our model should output stuff like this, which as an example is a struct called heart rate sample, make it identifiable so we can use it easily in the Swift UI views, have to give it an ID, and then whatever shape of the data we want, like in this case, I think heart rate sample data is like with a date and it has like a minimum and max. So you just put them in the struct. Yeah, this could also be a class, and then it could be a Swift data model if we make it a class.
Okay.
If we wanted to. So, and then this could be what you use for Swift UI. And then on top of this, say you wanted to, instead of having, I don't know, like min-max, maybe you wanted like a string or something that you wanted to, like a property, like UI string, I don't know. We could just have a extension on this that just implements that and then combines the min and max and however format you want. You know what I mean? So then that way we could have best of both worlds, because HealthKit is really designed with, we talked about, it's a lot of class inheritance, right? And we're trying to live in the world of, protocols based, programming, which is Swift, and composition. So the best way to do that is just to not rely on the HealthKit. We talked about this previously. We don't want to rely on the HealthKit's data types explicitly, especially because we definitely need to cache this. And so this is my idea of just going forward. I think it's the most obvious, straightforward way of doing this. Just, it's kind of like making DTOs.
And luckily, at least for this version, at least for V1, we're not trying to put any data back into HealthKit database. No. So actually, a lot of our stuff is just going to be reading the data and then displaying it, and that's it.
Yeah, I removed the write. It's not in the branch I'm working on. I'm going to remove the request for write access.
Yes, that would be. I tried and it blew up in my face.
Yeah, you have to, depending on which API you use, you either give it like, I think, nil or an empty dictionary, or empty array or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was weird. It was a little weird.
Yes. So that was the work that you've accomplished. And
the tiny bit. Yeah.
I can say that my mental focus for me was all work related. So pretty much everything that I was focused on for the past 2 weeks has been work specific. Not that that's a healthy thing. I don't dispute that point at all, but it's one of those weird projects, without getting too much in the weeds of it, but that consumed me from a sense of like, oh, I have to get this in and this in and this in and this, and they're not even asking for it. It's just me going rogue 50% of the time. And Aaron, you can attest to this. Is just like, I should put this in there, and they're like, and they won't say anything for some strange reason. Like, you normally expect people at work to tell me stop, right? So like haptics or sound or little animations or little like frilly things that aren't expressed anywhere in the comps, anywhere in the requirements. I just do it, and I'll add it in because I think it makes a better experience, and it does. But at the same time, it introduces all these sort of like unknown variables because I went rogue. I think the nice thing about it is that on the flip side of it, you get into this sort of rhythm. I think any program can relate to in that sense of like it kind of like begins to cascade on itself in terms of like, oh, well, let me do this and let me refactor that and let me clean up this and let me add that and let me tweak that. And then next thing you know, you're just getting a little ahead of yourself. So on some level, like now that as of this recording, majority of this project is like done for the most part. So I can refocus my time on.
As of today, you're done?
As of today,
nice.
Although I just saw something in my Slack that might change that.
Don't look at Jira.
I'm not looking at Jira. I'm looking at Slack, and stop. Close the laptop.
Slack. You're looking at work Slack after 5. What are you doing?
I know. I'm a fool.
I set up your Slack to not alert you and everything after. That's what I did.
It's not an alert. It's actually like my laptop is my work laptop is right in front of me.
No, I only look at Philly Coca Slack after hours.
For people who can't see us, both Steve and Aaron are both shaking their heads in disagreement of my bad habit.
Well, because we don't want you to burn out because we got this Bento Fit project we're trying to do.
No question. It's just like the same with unit test. I don't dispute the stupidity of not doing it, or whatever this bad habit I have. I don't dispute that.
Well, sometimes you get really into it. I mean, I've had the same thing happen. Everybody has. Get really into it. You work more hours. That's fine. You pace yourself. If you can go overboard, but it totally makes sense to sometimes do that. And of course, your day job takes priority over a side project.
Well,
that's how you make it.
I mean, yes. But I think getting back to this one, actually, it does energize me in some level to say, okay, now that I can kind of switch my context and be happy doing that new context because it's evergreen, for lack of a better word. I'm like, oh, I'm back to doing something new-ish, even though it's technically the side project. But one of the things I want to do with this one is take a lot of the stuff that we did save. None of these wireframes, by the way, that Steve is showing are up to date. But one thing that I'm going to do is commit to the idea that those, like in the Bento Box UI mechanic, there's never really an expressed idea why you would ever use a row item. So like there are square items that fit like 2 by 2, well 1 by 1, like so 2 columns, and then it would be basically 2 columns if you're thinking of it in a grid, and then that fit in 2 columns, and then they would never exceed 2 columns unless you're on an iPad, but we're not doing iPad. And then at least not yet. And then there would be a version of that where it's just take up a full 2 columns, like 1 row. And I think those would be focused on chart type data.
So
okay.
How hard is it even to do this layout with the grid tools in SwiftUI? Some of them have to be...
I don't think it's that hard at all. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron.
It looks fine. Can you drag them around?
See, because it's easy to do if every...
Don't do that, Aaron. You can.
Everything you can. I'm just saying it's
Can you
I think
rotate
we can do it
them
because...
90 degrees?
No, we're not doing that.
No L blocks or anything?
No,
like Tetris. We should make a Tetris design. Actually, that is kind of interesting. An
Tetris
L block
fit.
that would be something you couldn't do as a widget.
We're not doing an iPhone grid system here.
But wait a second. Is there a visualization of this data that makes sense in any other different kind of shape? Because again, we are supposed to be. It's a bento style. Bento boxes can have.
Can you check
shapes.
a circle in there somewhere?
We could do a circle.
No,
you could do different shapes in there.
No. This is borderline scope creep and borderline offensive.
Borderline. We can't have circles in a box.
You cannot have circles in a box. Okay. What do we say about round pegs in a square hole? Okay. But I think, like, to start, how about this? To start, we're only doing squares and rectangles.
Yeah, we're joking. So, but Kotaro, you just been busy with work, what it was, and
yeah.
And Aaron though has the best excuse ever for this because his family is a super important fitness legends of some sort. They run this legendary event in Philadelphia. You can tell us about it, Aaron. Tell us about your legendary status.
We've been doing the Philly Bike Expo for I think it's like 15 years now. Once a year, so it just happened to be this weekend. So
you're a legend.
All my time.
So you help literally run. See, when you said earlier that you were run the bike expo or something, I thought you meant like you were participating in it, but no, you're like an organizer of the Philly Bike Expo.
Yeah. My sister runs the whole event.
Yeah, and you were helping out.
But I'm the behind the scenes guy.
So what does that involve? Does that involve any kind of software?
Mostly web stuff, so nothing too exciting. I've been trying to build a new event check-in app, but the one we use from our thing that we've been using forever is like adequate, so I don't have enough of an excuse to...
Look, man, just because software is adequate is not enough. Look at what we're doing.
You can make a better one.
I could definitely make a better one if I could find the time, but I can barely find the time to work on a small thing like this that's not like critical for an event that it can't break. So
yeah, that's fair. I mean, the beauty about this this particular app, and one of the things that I wanted to make sure, I want to hope that it can do is ultimately you would probably not use it as it would be an entry point app. Let me rephrase it. It would be the type of app that actually would work better as a widget or on your watch as a complication.
Right.
It's kind of meant for quick. You take a look, you're like, oh, okay, this is where my heart rate's at. This is my, just quick bits of information that you don't need to go into HealthKit to see.
Yeah,
right?
And you make the UI bento boxes, basically make them the same thing as the widgets.
Yeah, basically.
And so the app itself is mostly just an easy way of choosing them and setting up the HealthKit access and maybe a few settings.
And collectively, good.
We need some really good update transitions.
Update transitions? What do you
Wait,
mean
how
update
far
transitions? Oh, you
much...
you want something like to like Matrix in or something? What are you talking about?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Crazy
man.
You've been hanging out with that. You've been hanging out with that Kotaro guy too long.
Wait, can you do any of these transitions on the widgets? I thought they were pretty limited.
No, you're kind of limited with widgets, but this one when you're actually running the app.
Here's the thing, right? Like now the second phase of this conversation is what can we do to rectify this, right? So like and get back on the horse, so to speak. And my point of view about it is like we had legit reasons ish to be where we're at.
It's perfectly fine. Life happens. I had a lot of stuff, like I had personal stuff to take care of. I had to battle bureaucracy. It was extremely stressful last few weeks for me.
Yes.
And I also had to edit the podcast. So like it's all legitimate stuff.
Now you did mention that. I want to make sure it's understood for the audience. If you can explain how much time is spent doing that part of it.
I don't know. It's like sometimes three times as long as the actual recording, 4 times if it's really messy. It takes multiple hours to edit it, is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. If I do it in one sitting, which is kind of tiring. If I split it up, it's a couple different nights. But, if we're on our regular schedule on a weekend, sometimes I'll be able to just record it in the morning and then get it done by the end of the afternoon.
Yeah, and it's edited, but it's kind of tough because, like, for the work, at least for Aaron, like right now, my project is not Swift specific, as weird as it sounds.
Your work project?
Yeah, my work project that I just finished.
Use Rust?
Something like that.
That was just a random,
as a metaphor. I would make a metaphor about it, but anyway, you can say Rust, but it's not
whatever.
Rust.
It's not.
But metaphorically, it's Rust, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
But and then coming home and then having to think of context switch and figure out what I need to do for this project.
No, it's hard. It's tough. It's tough. This has been particularly rough for you last couple of weeks, but to the way I was talking about before we started this was you have to learn to roll with the punches when you're doing a side project, because there's going to be stuff that comes up, and sometimes you just have to prioritize on focus on whatever the thing is that came up, and you just have to say, okay, I gotta put this aside till this is other things taken care of. And other times you need to just figure out how to split your time. So what are you thinking in terms of how do you address this? You getting back on board when you have sidetracks.
It's kind of funny because, like, ironically speaking, this will be a whole podcast about issues. I'm actually excited to get back on this project just so I have something extremely different to work on.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So and get back into my Swiftiness because I've been missing Swift.
Yeah.
So
I've been doing so much
I'll probably
Swift, it's like it's almost the opposite for me sometimes.
Yeah. And to be fair, there's Godot the game engine just came out with its 4.4 release.
Oh man.
And I've been like super gaga about that as well. So if this work project didn't take up my mental space, Godot 4.4 and me just like reading all the beautiful things about that update also took up my mental space. So I had no excuse.
You were a child like me, I'm sure, that read the manuals that came with video games like before you played them. You just like to read about it.
It depends on how good they were. Some of them were just
Nintendo
like
Power subscriber. I was.
No, because I would go to my friend's house and like read their copy.
Yeah, well, I mean, you read it though. I mean, that's what I'm
saying.
Yeah. We're the type of people read the technical manual from Star Trek. You read all the stuff, but I would read the manuals for video games and like before I think I even played them, like because these are beautiful manuals, and you read Nintendo Power ahead of time, you get all hyped about it. So I can understand you're getting hyped about Godot.
It'd be a shame that modern, like I think like the later manuals and like Nintendo games were pretty like blasé compared to like the early ones.
Yeah, you youngins listening don't know what you missed about the 80s and 90s video game world. Those manuals and those boxes.
Maybe we'll bring it back. Maybe we'll bring Bento Fit. You have like a full manual before you actually can start the app.
That's not a bad idea, actually. Well, not before you can start the app. That might be a little too much, but we actually
there's no skip button here.
There's some more scope creep for you. Like our manual should look like a video game guidebook.
Oh my gosh, there's no particular, and there's no like.
Look, there's no end to these side projects. You can always find more things to add to your side project. That's what makes them fun.
It's true.
You have to wait for the manual to come in the mail.
Yeah, you can't start it until you scan you actually write the code. You have to write the code that comes with the manual.
Comes in the manual. Everybody's code is different. We have to bespoke print them. Let's give ourselves so much extra work to do.
We're never gonna get these seriously, are we?
So your idea, you're excited to get back to this for the change of pace.
Yes.
So it's kind of like you're naturally motivated to get back to this. Is what it sounds like.
Yep.
Definitely. How about you, Aaron? How are you looking at this?
Yeah, like I said before, I'm trying to figure out how to like balance this project with everything else got going on. Still trying to figure that out, how to schedule it in.
Yeah, I mean, I my advice still stands. I try to time box some stuff and pre-plan my schedule, but then that obviously hits reality. It doesn't really work. So this last time that didn't really work, but like today I had some time. After work, I was like, we had a few hours before this recording. So I sat down and I opened up my personal laptop and I tried to hack around on HealthKit stuff for like, an hour and a half or something before I had to eat something real quick and then set up for this. So you just fit it in there if you find little snippets of time. And I think what helps is if we're looking at our board over here, if we have a clear indication of what tasks need to be done, then you could just pick something and not think about it. Because you're laughing.
I know,
but I'm not making a joke. I'm saying
that
this is a time management strategy that is evergreen. If you
this Kanban board,
it could be in a Kanban board, it could be a list. But if you pre-plan what tasks you have, so when you sit down to do something, you don't have to think about what to do. You just say, "This is what I'm doing." Then that helps you to get over the hump to get started when you have a little bit of time. So, I mean, that's why we have this board. We have stuff on here. I'm adding myself to things I'm working on. Like, I'm probably going to do this domain model thing.
Wait, widget integration.
I don't even know what that means.
It means integrating widgets. At least I actually did that one. So technically that should be in the done. Basically, I added a widget placeholder so that we can actually add widgets eventually. So that was basically that whole share. So we'll put that in the done column. We're doing, what is it? We're doing Scrum live.
No, not Scrum. I love how it has no description, by the way.
Of course.
No
details. Vague requirements.
But
that's like the majority of these tickets anyway. What's that?
So I think we're trying to keep this one not super long, but what about any other strategies you want to talk about? Then maybe we'll run through these cards real quick and make sure we know what's going on for next time.
I think, I don't know, Aaron, you want to start with your strategy or?
No, I'm just trying to get back to it after.
How about telling, doesn't ChatGPT have a new feature where it can just like harass you with push notifications or something?
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, just have the thing like every hour on the hour tell ChatGPT to send you a message, be like, get to work, slacker. Maybe that'll work.
I mean, what's funny is I do try to have like reminders or I have like a note that is like it's not perfect by any means, but like I say, okay, you have 3 things you plan to do each day of the week. And it just works for me because it's very simple and it's just like vanilla, bare bones. And, a good chunk of that is like, I'll put Bento Fit in as one of the items. And it's kind of divided into like 3. So it's like one is it for the morning, one is it for the afternoon, one is for the evening. Because I know contextually, like I can context switch that way a little more easily. I don't always fill it up. One of the things that I think would be kind of cool is to actually check track the stats of how many times I like filled all 3 items up. Because it's never 3.
Do you put that in like a spreadsheet to track the stats or something?
No, that's the thing. Like I put it in notes.
There's man, see, I can't remember specifically where I saw this.
Make an app for that.
No, I mean seriously, possibly. We actually it's kind of similar to the app we were thinking. We were trying to work for, but there is I was listening to some kind of podcast or something, and something like that came up where it was tracking some stuff about each day over time, and one of the things was like how he felt about the day, but if you pick some metrics you track over time, like every day, then you can get you can kind of use it to adjust what your productivity system is. So it's maybe what you're doing makes sense. So like if you're picking these 3 things, if you actually track in a way that you can then aggregate statistics in like a chart or something, you could maybe see trends. You could say, okay, well, if I pick, I'm never getting stuff done in the evening because I'm just too low energy or something. It's never happening. So then you can adjust or something like that. You know what I mean? But if you track some metrics every day, and the spreadsheet's an easy way of doing that. I've thought about doing that, and this particular one, I got to find where I saw it, because I think the thing that he was tracking, I think it was a Cal Newport podcast. He was talking about this. The thing he was tracking was like his, I guess his emotional satisfaction with the day or something. So it was like on a scale. And by doing so,
thing. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I mean, it sounds silly, but what was the point of it was that he wrote a little note about what he did that day, and one of the things he tracked was like his emotional on a numerical scale, and then that way over time he could see when when he was doing things in a day that made him happy or whatever, then you could see that over time, and then he could adjust his life to kind of go towards the things that he enjoyed doing and away from the things he didn't enjoy doing. By just looking at that data, it's a very nerdy way of looking at it. But sometimes you gotta. It's like journaling or something. You have to have some record of what worked, what didn't work for you, in order to make adjustments. So I think it can work for stuff like this, like trying to find time for development.
Maybe I'll build a very simple, like dumb app that will do that.
You don't need an app. You don't need another side project app.
How dare you? Now you've given me you inspired me, and now you've killed this dream.
I said use a spreadsheet because it's already there.
Spreadsheets for nerds, okay?
You're gonna make another side project. So that
Let me make a Kanban board right now.
Side project. This is exactly what programmers do.
What is opposite of a virtuous circle? What is the opposite of that?
What is the opposite of a virtuous circle? I don't know, a disastrous triangle.
I know.
I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, just oh my god.
Wait, what's next? What are we supposed to do next here?
Oh, okay. So that was our rolling with the punches segment, everybody, I guess.
Okay.
I hope you got some useful advice.
How about we wrap this up for today?
Well,
you can learn more about Philly Cook.
Wait, whoa. We don't have to wrap it up completely yet. I wanted to go through. I want to spend a few minutes here going through the list of stuff so we can review it. And we're supposed to be having the accountability podcast or whatever.
Gosh.
Whatever lies we told ourselves and the listeners.
They're beautiful lies, okay, Steve?
Beautiful lies. They're beautiful. No. So, just to make sure we're on the same track here. So basically with the same kind of stuff we had to do last time, and I just want to make sure we have it written down. I'm not sure it was all written down properly in here last time. So we had, what does add remove bento boxes dynamically mean?
So basically the items themselves, I want to be able to add and remove data. Bento, it should be clarified that they're the bento box items. So
I'm saying, is our card already for this?
It might be in Bento Grid, but who knows? In progress.
Who knows?
The description. Mike Zornick would have my head.
Oh my god, he's probably listening to us now, just fuming.
Just like, I know.
Oh my god. Okay, so we'll put it in Bento Grid. Okay,
yes.
We'll put it in Bento Grid. What do we want?
Dynamic Bento Grid. So dynamically add and remove bento box items in the grid. Taking those data items that we have already created and just at least creating a way to add and remove them dynamically. That'll be my task.
In the UI?
In the UI, yeah. So we can do things where we can customize that stuff and then see how that feels individually. Ideally, would be great if we can have like a wide range of data items to pick from. So I don't know if that's a part 2 of this or a different
that would probably be, you want more metrics.
More metrics, yeah. I need
So
more
these are the
metrics.
ones that I have listed that I was working on, but any of us can work on this because
yes.
A lot of so one of the issues we had last time was we closed the PR that the old ticket was associated with, so I had to copy and paste it back in here. There's no other better way I could find for the workflow, so yeah, I don't know how to do that. Maybe we should make more sub tasks or something. I don't know.
This looks like an epic right here.
I know, that's what I mean. This might need to be broken down so that we could do more PRs on it. But
we have,
these are the lists.
We have almost close to, like, I would say approximately like 15-ish amounts of data items.
I'm not gonna do all of these. I'm gonna choose like 5 maybe, for 3 to 5 per person.
You and Steve were talking. You and Aaron were talking before we started about an interesting stat that you were trying to track for your running. Is that in here?
The shoes thing?
Not the shoes. Does that Aaron put the shoes in there?
No, it's not in here. But he was asking about.
You were talking about the distance. Like the distance at a certain, like your distance ran at a certain speed, like at a certain rate or a certain speed or a certain time.
I don't know. Aaron had running miles per week, and I think I might have been looking at. I don't know what I was talking about, but I'll look at that again because there are some interesting stats for me, like average heart rate during a run and like the max heart rate during a run. Like I like to look at that stuff because I'm focused on cardio health more than I am right now on speed. But I'll think about it again. But we have a bunch of these on the list here, so I don't know if you want to take one and then like check it off if you do it.
Yeah,
I don't know how we want to do the branches. I think we should just make a new little branch for one of these we implement. And then do it as a PR.
Because I know we were talking about trying to like standardize at least the sort of like how to get the outputs, so we don't have like this huge class of different fetches.
Yeah, that's what
fetch methods. Yeah, no, in terms of fetching the thing, not the data item coming back. And I think you were starting that trend, like making making extensions or that kind of stuff, instead of just putting it all in one class of like fetch, daily count, daily calories or whatever. You were doing something, but we don't need to go into that here as a sort of like a template of like how we should approach building these specific fetch.
Yeah, this stuff.
Yeah, that's
all these fetches, like. Yeah, these can be separated however you want. They probably just should. The easiest way is probably just to start by putting them into extensions, so they're just grouped, and we don't have this gigantic file. But there you go. This is the broken branch I'm messing with, but I didn't change these yet.
Yep.
So,
Makes sense.
So back to this. So then So that's that. We're adding more health metrics. That's already on the list. Data modeling. We talked about that briefly. I'll take a stab at the data modeling. For at least this, like, so basically anything that we have in there coming out of the health manager class, which is the main integration point for HealthKit, I will come up with a domain model for it. Unless someone would beat me to it, but just, change who was assigned to it if you're going to work on it so we don't clobber each other. But I think I can do that right here, and I'll basically make structs or something. And then, yeah, I think that's really the main things we need to do. Is there anything else we want to add to this? We got Bento Grid, domain modeling, and HealthKit metrics. I'm also kind of assigned to this at the moment. Aaron, is there anything particular you wanted to try to commit to looking at?
Well, there's add remove cards all the way down there.
What? Is that separate from the thing we were just talking about?
Technically, no, but it's kind of a part of that Bento Grid thing.
Okay, wow.
So just add it in there and assign it to me. I'll know what to do with it.
I'll see if you get to the cards thing. Otherwise, I might do it because I kind of need that for doing more useful stuff on the and maybe like charts if it's on there
This
somewhere.
would be good. Yeah. Especially the one that you were talking about, since you already have that data item. So adding charts to like one with like a 2-column grid, for the two, like a full row. You could just do something very basic that you feel is enough to convey the point.
So what do you want me to put in here for this case, Aaron?
It's like track trends over time.
Yeah.
Something like that.
You can take the one that you already built as a starter to...
Yeah, it's like I want to see I don't want to just see my running miles for this week. I want to see it for the past 3 weeks or 4 weeks or something.
Was that running per? That was like miles per week.
Yeah,
like that.
But like I was saying
Distant
before,
per
it's
week
not
or
really
something
that
like
useful until you compare it to at least like a couple weeks before.
Okay, good. So we all have more than we'll probably be able to get done in here, so that's fine. This, I'm gonna probably gonna need to do this first.
We're trying to be hyper aggressive about how much we think we can get done.
Okay. Yeah, so we've now filled our in progress column up. There you are. Whip count is at 3.
Yes.
Okay,
Awesome.
so I think it's good. So next time we're trying to get just a little bit more basic UI working so that we can more easily dog food this, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then continue. We need to add at least a few more metrics so we have some data to work with so that I can create some basic domain modeling.
Yes.
And then Aaron can play around with Swift charts.
Yes.
And then that'll help us visualize probably rectangular type of bentos.
Yes.
Whatever we're calling them.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds good. And honestly, if we got all that actually working decently, then, I mean, it would be more like persistent strategy and then other stuff. I mean, it doesn't have to, that would be basically a usable, minimal viable product, I think, for us to use.
Mm-hmm.
As long as once we have the metrics we want to talk about. So,
yeah, you're right.
All right. So let's see if we can get an MVP then, and by next time.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Yeah, I like that idea. Cool. Okay, well now that's all we have for today. You can learn more about Philly Cocoa at phillycocoa.org. There you'll find links to our Slack group, meetup schedule, and contact info. If you're feeling generous, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever your podcast platform of choice is, and share us with all your developer friends. And one more thing, I want to give a little shout out to our friends at Left Brain, Right Brain LLC. I think I got that right. They have come up with a new update for their app. I didn't realize this app was out for so long. It's called Stylebook, no plural. They just recently came out with the version 10. Now, Stylebooks is an app for iPhone and iPad. It's actually a paid upfront app of $5. It's designed to help you carefully curate your wardrobe so you can look effortlessly chic.
I can't. Is this it? Is this the?
Yep. That is the one. We want you to get the most out of what you already have in your closet and to choose new pieces that will integrate well with your wardrobe as a whole. It's hard for me to describe it, but it's basically a wardrobe. It's a way for you to take pictures of your wardrobe. It has a way to crop out automatically the background so that you can kind of take it and then kind of you can superimpose it on each other. So it's like, imagine like taking like cutouts of your wardrobe, make sure that you line it up with a clear background. Then like basically organize your wardrobes in different, as a collection, as a set, and then save it and share it with your friends if you want.
So then, like this picture has a shirt and like a skirt and some shoes and a purse all kind of laid out on a white background, and that's your collection of an outfit?
Yep. That's kind of how it fundamentally works. Bill Atkins and Jess Atkins are the creators of this app, and they are members of Philly Cocoa. or community members of the Philly Cocoa. So the new update actually allows you to sync your data between your iPhone and your iPad, protects your data in case you delete the app, allows you to restore if you accidentally delete it. They apparently have improved AI-powered background removal to import tools, verse erase in an advanced edit, generates clothing image with AI. You need Apple Intelligence or Apple iOS 18.2 to use this feature. Drag and drop images on a clothing grid to import, paste multiple images, and tons more that we don't want to get too deep in the weeds with. But again, just wanted to give a shout out. This is this is not a sponsor, by the way, not a sponsorship, but it's just our way of...
It's a shout out. We should probably change the name of the segment to like something like Side Project Shout Out or something.
There you go. Side Project Shout Out. It is available on the App Store, or you can go to the website to get more information about it at stylebookapp.com. And
this...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, this one picture on their website, it has like a little iPad mounted on the wall with a picture of the outfit.
That's
and I guess I understand now I understand what it means. So like you could mount your iPad on the wall if you wanted to, and then pick your outfit, and that way. No, I don't understand this app because I am a monochromatic kind of person, and I just buy in bulk the same black T-shirt every like few years, and I just wear that all the time, But if you are a normal, well-functioning person who wants to like socialize with human beings in public and wear colors so that you appear friendly, this totally makes sense because you probably have a bunch of clothes in your closet and they have colors on them and they have different styles and shapes. And I don't understand clothes, but those that do, I'm sure, have a problem of arranging outfits. So this makes sense.
See, I don't know if
take it from the guy who does not know how to dress well. This is a good app.
Take it to pretty much all three guys. Because Aaron's like,
we are the worst spokesman for this app because we. It's like three different kinds of lack of style here. It's just. But it is a cool app, though. Now I look at it, it's really cool.
It's a well-designed app for sure.
It is well-designed.
But yeah, shout out to you, Jess and Bill, and feel free to join the podcast and let us know about your app if you ever care to or ever want to.
Yeah, this screen here with the calendar they have here that shows a bunch of outfits each day of the week. This would just be a sea of black for me.
Yeah. Actually, well, it's kind of funny because they actually have a pie chart with like your.
It would just be a black circle.
Like, it'd be black and white and
a little bit of blue for blue jeans.
Yeah,
a black circle.
Oh, that's true.
Okay.
See, you can already tell. See, now you need to know. Now you need to add a little hint of color.
More than a hint, yes. If I use this app, I would probably be wondering if I was colorblind.
Fair enough. But yes, so again, check it out.
Very cool though.
Stylebookapp.com.
Yep.
And
link in the show notes.
It's link in the show notes. Till next time, good luck on your own developer journey. We will cheer for you always.
You're going to make another side project so that you can find the time to work on this side project.